The controversy continues for the NFL. Last week, Aaron Hernandez's lawyers revealed that at the time of his suicide, the former New England Patriots player had a severe case of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, also known as CTE, which can cause aggressiveness, depression, and suicidal thoughts. The 27-year-old killed himself in April while serving a life sentence for murder 5 days after he was acquitted of 2 other murder charges. And his lawyer says that the symptoms of CTE may have led to his suicide.
I will say for lawyers representing athletes of contact sports that this is something you should definitely consider having your clients take some of the presumptive tests that are available. Today we're also announcing that my team has filed a federal lawsuit suing the NFL and the New England Patriots.
The NFL have responded to the lawsuit, stating, "We intend to contest the claim vigorously. Any attempt here to paint Aaron Hernandez as a victim, we believe, is misguided." But the Hernandez case aside, the CTE debate is very unlikely to go away for the NFL. Last year, the league's senior vice president of health and safety, Jeff Miller, acknowledged the connection between the game and CTE. A recent study found signs of it in 110 of 111 NFL players whose brains were inspected. Hernandez was considered a talent on the field. Now, it remains to be seen what the NFL will do to ensure that players have a safer future off it.
We can speak now with US-based journalist Susan Candiotti, who's been following the Hernandez story since the beginning. Susan, thank you very much for joining us on the show. Now, these are very troubling results coming out about Hernandez's autopsy report. So how good of a chance do his family's lawyers have against the NFL and against the Patriots now?
Well, that's tough because there is a lot of discussion about how much they will have to prove about whether the NFL, whether the New England Patriots could have known about his mental state, could have known or predicted somehow that he had this CTE, because the most prominent diagnostic tests come only after you conduct an autopsy on the brain. And so therefore, how could they have known? And also, many lawyers are saying that they would have to go back and prove that the CTE had some bearing on the murder of Odin Lloyd back in 2012. Lawyers at the time did not bring that up because they said they maintained that Aaron Hernandez was innocent of that murder. So there's a great burden upon the defense attorneys who represented Aaron Hernandez and are representing him now in this case.
So if Aaron Hernandez's lawyers end up winning this lawsuit in the long run, would that be a game changer in the way that the NFL would have to deal with CTE?
Well, it certainly could be. And I think it could have an impact regardless of that, because there have been more and studies over the years that show how susceptible, certainly how hits to even young children. There are many studies proving that even early on, the violent hits that children take and through the teenage years and onto adult years playing in the NFL, how much damage it can potentially do to the brain through concussions, something that might not necessarily show up right away, but can get worse over time. So a lot of parents certainly must be rethinking whether they want their children to participate in this violent a sport.
Now, in light of all of this, it's very hard to imagine that the NFL won't be faced with more and more of these CTE-related cases. But how well equipped do you think the league is to actually handle all of this, to deal with this?
Well, it's difficult to say. Certainly, it's not a subject that they'd like to address. There's no comment, certainly, on this particular case, because it's now in the throes of the court, or potentially could be. So how much impact it will have on what they do down the road is yet to be seen. Will there be additional testing? How far back will they try to get information about the people that they're drafting? You know, Aaron Hernandez played high school football. He was drafted to play for the college, the University of Florida. We don't know whether this lawsuit might potentially ensnare the University of Florida as well somewhere along the way. And so I certainly think it has caught the attention, because this case has caught the attention of people around the world about what happened. And so will that force the NFL? Will that force colleges to take a closer look at how well they are taking care of their players? We'll have to see.
Well, Susan, wonderful to speak with you, and thank you again.